Hello everybody, I'm Laz. Welcome to projectmanagerhelper.com. For this video, I'm going to go over the risk chart. Now, what makes this particular web app unique is that you can display multiple risk parameters at once. I'll go over those. So the first thing we're going to do is load the sample data just so we can have a visual depiction. You can go over different heat maps, templates if you like. I'll cycle through some of these. You can see what those look like. I prefer just a green to yellow to red traditional risk heat map. You can also adjust the size of the risk bubble, and then the labels you can move them around if you like as well before you download the chart. Now, why I like to use this program rather than building it in Excel or PowerPoint or any other visual tools that most of us are more familiar with is because we can include a multi-dimensional array of risks and risk variables, not only the traditional probability versus impact, which you also have here in the Y and the X axis. You can put probability as a percentage or as a discrete value between 1 and 10. Also, you can use high, medium, low. Impact as well as in a percentage or 1 through 10. This is grayed out because we already have it selected for these lists of risks in the risk register. Also, you can include detectability or urgency as well as proximity. We also include here dormancy. You can have it in time. If you select dormancy in time, then you can select hours, days, weeks, months for how dormant the threat is. Dormancy essentially is how long between the trigger and the impact of the threat. Versus detectability, which is how detectable the threat is, how easy to see it is. Urgency, how fast we need to deal with this. You could have it as a high, medium, low, or in time as well. Next is proximity, which means when will the impact of this threat be felt. Next is dormancy, also in time, so how long between the trigger and the impact of the threat, or how long is dormant for. Manageability, how high is your ability to manage the threat, or controllability, very similar. Connectivity, now is this threat connected to multiple activities in your project, or is it something that will not affect other parameters in the project you're working? Strategic impact, self-explanatory. Propinquity, which is how important or time sensitive the organization believes this risk or threat is. You can also select between threat and opportunity. That this one's a binary. Let's say we wanted to add another risk, call it significant delay. You scroll over to the right, add risk. Now you can input parameters. So probability, let's say that it has an 80% probability of manifesting, and the impact is a 5, which is medium impact. Now detectability is, will you see it coming? Let's say for detectability, it has a 5, which means you can definitely see the significant delay coming long ways out. And then how urgent it is to deal with it once it is spotted. So let's assign it at 2 just for this example. Now, if you go back to the chart here at the impact of 5 and the probability of 80, you find significant delay there. Now, let's assign additional variables to this chart here. Since our goal is to convey as much data as possible, we're keeping it clean and easy for stakeholders and leaders in the organization to quickly understand the depiction here and not too much clutter. So you have 6 parameters that you can use: the x-axis, y-axis, bubble size, bubble color, and then inner label. and inner label color. You can display 6 different risk parameters at the same time using this program. So let's go ahead and drop down bubble size, and let's assign it to urgency. As you can see here, immediately the bubbles are now different sizes depending on how urgent it is for that particular risk. And you can move the label here off screen or somewhere else in your chart if you prefer. For now, you could also move the label for each risk as well, anywhere you like, just to keep it clean and concise. Next, for the bubble color, let's select, actually, I want to add a new risk. I want to select threat versus opportunity. In this case, all of these are threats, but remember, a risk can be a threat or an opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean bad. Let's say that significant delay was actually a good thing for whatever reason, just to show what it will look like here on the chart. So select bubble color, threat, opportunity. Now you can see all the threats are in red and the opportunity is in blue. So that's an easy way to delineate between those two. Or you can even reinforce the impact and select the bubble color, link it to the impact. You might need to change the background so you can see it a little bit more here. There's many different options for heat map templates that you can use, but as you can see here, the ones with the highest impact will appear brighter red versus the lower impact will appear greenish or bluish. Middle will be yellowish here. So there's a lot of customizations that you can do. Now, if we wanted to add another risk here, another risk variable, let's say we wanted to add detectability. Now we have another option, inner label. As you can see here, the detectability will appear in the inner label of the bubble. Now, just to showcase a 6 parameter, let's say threat versus opportunity, you want to use it as the inner label color. Now, just by looking at this chart here, you can gain a lot of information about this. So data breach, you can see based on the bubble color that it has a very strong impact because it's very bright red, but you can also see that on the y-axis here. You can see based on the bubble size that it is the most urgent thing alongside vendor bankruptcy for us to deal with. Inner label, detectability, so 1. So it is very hard to detect, assuming that you meant 1 to be very low detectability and 5 very high detectability. And then finally, the inner label color, threat or opportunity, you see is red. So it means it's definitely a threat versus the 5, which is an opportunity. Now, sometimes the inner labels will be hard to see, so you can increase the overall size of the bubbles up here. It will make them stand out a little bit more. If you wanted to add additional parameters, just select that. Propinquity, and then 1 through 5, you can just add 3, 4, 5. You can add additional risks, and then your chart will keep updating. And remember, you can move all the labels to wherever you want them for visual clarity. But this is a very powerful tool. You can convey a tremendous amount of information about risk and opportunity, or cost versus reward, in one concise chart with all of the labels appearing clearly. Thank you so much for watching. Visit projectmanagerhelper.com to take a look at all of our tools here. Many of these are very easy to use. And if you have any questions, you can go to our tutorials page and view the videos on how to use each of our tools. Don't forget to comment if you have any questions or suggestions for improvements, or if you think of a tool that you would like to see added here. If you find any bugs with any of the tools, also let me know in the comments and I'll get it fixed. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thank you.